Hi, my name is Trevor Teisman from Kbandstraining.com. Today is going to be all about shoulder pain. If you're like me, there's been several times throughout your life that you run into shoulder pain, and I think I've semi-mastered how I can alleviate my own shoulder pain. So I hope this helps you go through a bit of a process where you can also alleviate your pain, fix the problem, and then prevent any future injuries. The first phase is going to be evaluate the injury. You've got to decide, are you sore or did you injure something? What was it? Was it an impact or was it a little bit of an overuse? Maybe you threw a lot of BP rounds to your kid. Your shoulder's very, very sore. Maybe you are a kid that's a pitcher. You threw 7 or 8 innings and now your shoulder's barking. It's 2 days later. Or maybe you had an impact on the football field or a sudden jolt that has brought pain to your shoulder. All these things are things that you need to consider so that you know how to treat it. During this evaluation phase, I highly recommend that you freeze any excess movement. So if I've gone out, and this happens often, I'm lifting heavy, I get a little bit of a shoulder tweak, or I get extreme soreness within the next day or two. I am not going to work that shoulder again. I see time after time, people really just try to stay in the groove and maintain the routine, and they overuse something that they could really nip in the butt right away. You need to shut it down and then go through this evaluation process where you're really trying to locate the pain and understand what caused it. This doesn't have to be a long, drawn-out thing, of course. If you're extremely sore, leave it alone. Don't just go work it right away. After the extreme pain kind of alleviates, that's when we get to work on it. During this phase, if you have extreme pain, this is, of course, you need to go to a doctor. You need to get it checked out. Maybe you tore your labrum. Maybe you got some rotator cuff damage. This video is made for a nagging shoulder that continually comes back. I've got a right shoulder that always seems to come back with overuse, and this is how I always evaluate and fix the problem as fast as possible. So if you've got like a big shoulder injury, go to the doctor, get it checked out the right way. If you've got a nagging pain that you're semi-used to getting, it happens over and over and over, it just takes the right type of movement, then this video is going to help you a lot. The second step is going to be range of motion. You're going to start trying to figure out how much range of motion you've lost and what particular places it gets stuck in. So a great way to do this is to get on a stability ball, lay your arms back and move your hands a little bit out to the sides and then up towards the top of your head. If it gets stuck in any one of those places or you get a bit of a zinger, you're starting to locate a bit of the problem. We're going to also do some other stretches. You're going to bring your arm across your chest. You're going to take it over the top of your head. This is more of a tricep stretch unless, of course, your shoulder has a lot of pain. You're going to feel this sometimes on the outside of your shoulder. We're also going to be doing small little circles forward and small little circles back, and those will increase into big circles. Is there any point in time where you're feeling it more in your neck? Do you feel it in your trap? Where exactly is the pain? Is it right at the front of your shoulder or is it towards the side of your shoulder? Each of these things are going to indicate to you what you need to do to fix the problem. Now remember, of course, we've shut down the exercise that caused it. This is going to be in the next day or two to come. If your shoulder's feeling a little bit better, but now we want to make sure that we get full range of motion back as well as the steps to follow. Step 3 is stretching and deep tissue massage. It's going to link a lot with the range of motion because in step 2, as you're finding the areas that you're tight, step 3 is going to take action on that. You're going to be stretching those places that are very, very tight. And while you're stretching, you're going to be in search of a massive knot or a boulder in your body. This is going to be that knotted up deep tissue that we've got to break loose. You're going to start this stretching protocol at least 3 to 4 times a week, very lightly after a warm-up. So whether it's going on a little bit of a walk, going on a jog, nothing too crazy. You're just going to get the blood pumping a little bit. Maybe you got an exercise bike or an elliptical, something to just get your blood flowing a little bit before we stretch. Do it 5, 6, 7 minutes, get a little heart rate, and then you're going to move through a stretch routine. I'll show you some of these exercises. One of them, you'll take your arm across. That's very simple. The next one, you'll take your elbow up over your head, pull it across. Each of these may be for 15 or 20 seconds. The next is going to be a sleeper stretch. You'll lay on your side, kind of drop that shoulder back and make sure that you're not setting your scapula way forward. We want that to rotate properly. So you're going to set your scapula, set your arm down, and rotate it down, and then push with a little bit of resistance into your hand. 1, 2, 3 on the way up, and then take it back down. You'll do this maybe for 3 to 4 times before you flip over to the other shoulder. Now remember, we're going to do both shoulders just to make sure that we've got great range of motion on both sides. You always want to stretch them both. The next stretches are going to be on a stability ball. I'm a big fan of doing things on the stability ball because it supports your spine and really allows you to get stretched out on the front side. Oftentimes, most shoulder injuries occur because you got this little concave thing going on. Your chest is way tighter than your back. Everything's moving forward. So all those things that you're doing, those rotation exercises, those overhead exercises are all done with an impinged shoulder. So by laying on that stability ball, you can open up your chest. And a lot of you guys are going to really like the way this feels. Lay on a ball, open up your chest, and stretch for 20, 30 seconds at each arm angle. I like to walk up the clock, sit over at the sides, put them out there, take a deep breath, exhale, let it sit, and then move it up to the next spot. Then move it up to the next spot. Then move it up to the next spot. Now, a lot of you will find that it gives you a lot of pain at the 12 o'clock position. Make sure you're also turning your hands. Whenever you get up there, you want to rotate your hands and see kind of what your shoulder is going to give you. So sometimes if I'm internally rotated and I'm above my head, I feel just fine. Sometimes when I'm externally rotated, I can get a bit of a zinger. So these are indications for you that play into that step 2, step 3, where you're evaluating, you're trying to find the spots at which are tight, and then we're going to be working on them with that other phase in there, the 3. We're going to be doing that deep tissue massage. So finish up at the 12 o'clock position. Now we've got the shoulder really, really, really stretched. We have a really good understanding now of where the tension is. You've probably felt it in many of these stretches. Now we're going to be doing the deep tissue targeting. Find that spot that's bothering you, and then we're going to work it. There's a lot of different ways that you can work it. For me personally, my right shoulder gets tender after I do a lot of heavy weight training. Always happens. I've got a little weakness in it. I had a bit of an injury when I was in high school to my right shoulder. I'm left-handed, so it didn't really have a whole lot to do with throwing. Had to do with catching a ball. Very weird. Had a lot of pain for quite some time. So ever since then, the shoulder's not functioning quite properly. I go through a lot of rehab exercises all the time to make sure I keep it pretty healthy. But anytime I get overuse, I get pain there. I know a lot of you guys most likely have some of these issues with lower back or knee overuse. It seems like that same pain always seems to come back. The shoulder stuff is not much different. So mine works like clockwork. Overuse, I get tightness in my shoulder. The front side gets a little bit tender, but all my tension sits up in my trap. So when I start rolling my trap, that's going to be one of your techniques to do deep tissue. You can use a massage roller. You can use some of those release targeting style beating machines that bump on that muscle. You can use a baseball, or you can even use a roller stick, golf club, something to roll over it. Get a friend, get someone that can help you with these types of things, or even a massage therapist, and you're going to find that knot. I rarely have ever seen a time in my shoulder where I don't have a ball of tissue built up that is bothering my shoulder in the front side. So get that, a trap tightness, big ball, big mass in the back. As soon as I get that loose, front side of my shoulder goes away. So to get more specifically for you, when you're going through all these different stretches, you're feeling what you're feeling, you're looking for that spot. Your next goal is going to be to find that boulder. Where is it? Is it in your trap? Look through all the connective tissue in the area. The shoulder is a very complicated thing. If your bicep gets too tight, your bicep tendon may be causing your shoulder to hurt. If your trap gets too tight, it may cause your shoulder to not function properly. Get a little bit of inflammation in there, now we got pain. Is it your deltoid? Is it your rotator cuff? Your goal is going to be to find what it's doing. Let me give you a couple examples of what you may find. When you're doing the sleeper stretch and you're laying on your side and you rotate your hand in, one shoulder feels great, the other does not. One shoulder has great range of motion, the other does not. What you're looking at is internal rotation on one shoulder is very lacking. So if you get a good functioning shoulder, oftentimes you don't have any pain. So that would be an indication that you need to start working your internal rotation all the time. 2 to 3 times a week, get a little bit of a warm up. I'll give you another stretch that you can do. It's with a towel. You should be doing it all the time, 2 to 3 times a week. You throw the towel over your shoulder and then you slide your hand up the back, lay the front side of the hand down, and you get a really good stretch. If you can do this and you realize that one shoulder's tighter or looser than the other and you start getting them to both match, I guarantee you your pain's going to start subsiding right away. Here's another example for you. You throw your hand through a ballistic band and you stretch across your chest, okay? If I've got a lot of tightness on the top side or down through my deltoids, this is a great stretch. Ballistic band through the wrists, pull it across. You're going to feel a lot of pull there. I guarantee you what you're pulling on is something that's shortened up that chain. You know, you've got muscle and you've got tendon. If you lock up that muscle, those tendons get pulled on, causing inflammation and pain. So when you feel that, this would be where you're starting to track down that trigger point. So I've got a trigger point most likely in my shoulder or my trap at that angle. Sometimes even when you do your stretch on the ball, you'll feel that you've got a ton of tension in your chest, where your chest inserts in your shoulder. So if you've got a ton of tension in your chest and it's not loose enough, that may be as simple as the problem is. You've got to get some deep tissue, some massaging going on in your pecs, get them loosened up so that your shoulder will get looser. Those tendons will relax on that bone. The deep tissue portion of this is going to be a little bit tricky. I gave you some examples on how to do it, but let's execute. So say you find a big boulder in your shoulder. One of the best ways that you can hit this is with a foam roller on your own. You can set it on a wall and lean into it, or you can put the roller on a squat rack and lean into it. You kind of slide your body down at an angle and then you grind into it. I often find that your own body weight does a lot more good than just having a thumb push on it. You can also utilize a partner with a golf club because it slides really easily over some clothes, or you can use one of those fancy little massage sticks. Those can also help a lot, but you're really trying to grind that muscle out. Take that mass and picture yourself rolling back and forth over it, trying to line up the muscle fibers again. Sometimes they get all bundled up and they've got nowhere to go. So you start grinding on them, you're increasing blood flow, you're really breaking down the tissue, realigning them. Don't get me wrong, this does not feel good. It's not a walk in a park, but I promise you, if you can muscle through a deep tissue style massage and get rid of that boulder, it's going to feel way better. Now, the one thing I will tell you is every time this happens to me, you do your deep tissue massages for 2 or 3 days and it starts feeling dramatically better. The problem is that you really need to do it for 3 or 4 weeks consistently to get rid of it altogether. Don't cut it short. Plan on when you have an overuse injury or some type of a shoulder pain that for the next 4 weeks, you're going to be working on it. And then for the 4 weeks after that, you're going to be doing continuous maintenance exercises to strengthen that area. Your trigger point work should be done briefly and intensely. You want to massage any trigger point that you find for at least 3 to 5 minutes continuously, and then leave it alone. You'll probably be pretty tender in the first couple times you do it, and you'll be less tender the more often you do it. So come to week 2 or 3, if you want to do it a little bit longer, just listen to your body and move on. Stage 4 will be more of your rehab-based things. It's going to be what that 4 weeks looks like after the pain goes away. I promise you, you're going to keep getting this injury over time if you don't work to strengthen the area. The reason why it happened in the first place is either because it happened quickly, something strong that hurt it, now we need to strengthen the area, or it's an overuse where you're continually going to be using this area in the future and it needs to be stronger to withstand the load you're putting on it. So now that your shoulder's feeling better, you're at that 4-week time period where you've done the trigger point, you've got your range of motion back. What you're going to be doing is you're going to grab a stability ball or even an incline bench press. This can all be done on that as well. But you're going to go through a variety of different exercises. You can grab soup cans or you can get 5-pound dumbbells, something light that's easy to move. You can even get some of those weighted balls or anything that's right around that 4 to 6 pound, 5-pound range. You're going to get at a 45-degree angle and you're going to go through a different sequences. You'll be at a 45-degree angle up. Then you'll be at a flat lateral position. Then you're going to turn your hands over and work low down by your sides. The final movement will be raising your elbows up and rotating them back. This is all going to be great for strengthening your rotator cuff and adding some stability to your shoulder. Get yourself about 10 to 12 repetitions, all very slow and controlled. Heavier weights will turn the rotator cuff off, so we want to stay light with the weights so that we're working those proper stability muscles. Get yourself anywhere between 10 and 15 repetitions, go through 2 times, take a break in between, and then we'll move on to some other exercises. After you get off the ball, you're going to be utilizing some resistance bands, and we're going to move through 3 or 4 different exercises here too. I'm going to keep it real quick for you because I know a lot of people don't have tons of time to work out, especially on just trying to prevent an injury when you don't hurt anymore. As soon as that thing goes away and you're not feeling that pain, let's be honest, you're going to quit focusing on it. So we got to keep these things pretty quick to where you can get done 5-10 minutes and then be in a better place in the long run for that shoulder to work better. When you're standing, you're going to get a light resistance band. Don't get something heavy. We're not weight training here. Again, we're trying to build stability and strength, range of motion in the shoulder. You're going to stand on it with one foot. You'll be doing lateral raises. Then you'll turn your thumbs up and go at a 45. Then you're going to be doing an empty soup where you're raising them up. Again, the resistance is very light, all with 3-second counts on the way down, getting good activation. Finally, you'll mount your light resistance band up on some type of a mountable object, whether it be a mount you have on the wall or a squat rack, and you're going to do external rotations down by your side and up high right by your head. These exercises are going to get a lot of blood flow in the area, but again, I can't stress enough, do not add too much weight. You don't need it. Stay light. Work through the burn. When you get around 10, 12 repetitions in this world, your shoulder is going to be on fire. That is a good thing. You're building strength, you're building stability, and that is what you need. I hope this helps. I go through this process every single time. I normally get some shoulder type of pain or things like this through weight training throughout the year, every single year. Anytime that I don't stick to my rehab protocol, it always seems to come back with overuse. So if you find yourself with a nagging shoulder that always continually comes back, just stay active in this process and you'll see that you can keep working and you do not need surgery for these nagging style pains that are on just some small level of a shoulder pain. I hope this can help you get rid of your shoulder pain. It has helped me over the years really subside the pain quick and get me back to doing the things that I want to do, because that's what it's all about. Being able to have fun and do the exercises or the activities that you enjoy doing. If you have some type of major pain or you know that it's a different type of injury that you've never had before, hey, go to the doctor. But if this is just that nagging little pain you get from throwing too much BP or you pitched in a game, this sequence of exercises and things that I've discussed with you is going to help you get back in the game very quick.